Hi there, I am Laurie Delk.
Good evening. I am Kathryn RaRa Asaro Myers, and RaRa's in the house tonight. We're the Gratitude Girls. I'm so excited to be here with you, Laurie. Time flies, but yet, I don't know. It feels like it was yesterday, but I still miss you. How is that?
I know, right? Time flies so quickly when you're having fun, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm really excited for tonight's show. So, Laurie, in case some of our audience is tuning in for the first time, maybe we can do a little geography. I'm always fascinated by geography and where we are in the world. And tonight I have a different background. I'm in the same city, I'm in the same province, I'm in the same country, but I moved to the north side of my house. So I'd like to identify where I'm speaking to our audience from tonight and our guest. So I'm sitting in a town called St. Catharines in Ontario, Canada. And I happen to be in our living room this evening to change the scenery. How about you, Laurie?
Well, I'm almost always, actually, in my living room, but I am in Columbia, Tennessee, which is about an hour south of Nashville.
And you're in the United States, obviously, so in case some of our audience is listening to us from elsewhere. And I'm in Canada. Now, originally, I'm a New Yorker, in case you happen to hear that accent slip out. But it's about 30 years that I live here in Canada. So this is my home. But someone was just telling me today, I think I hear your New York accent. So I must have been a little bit tired or talking fast. It may slip out in the interview, so just let our audience know about that. Laurie, we have a great guest this evening, and I'm so excited to hear all about her gratitude story. Would you like to take a few minutes and tell our audience who we'll be speaking with?
Yes, absolutely. So tonight our special guest is Miss Ginny Priz. She calls herself the Single-Handed Serenity Coach. Mm-hmm. Ginny is a single-handed lover of life, and being born without a full right arm was the blessing that gave her faith in God's plan. Her prosthetic comes in handy when she makes humorous puns and one-arm liners. Beginning in her college, Ginny put her faith in the backseat for over a decade, and finally, after years of struggling with anxiety, codependency, and addiction, she gave in and let God transform her journey through the Serenity Prayer. So today, Ginny has a passion for sharing this transformational power to help others along their own serenity journey. She is a certified professional life coach and serves as a teacher and sponsor through the Celebrate Recovery program. And you can learn more at ginnypriz.com. And Ginny, welcome to the Gratitude Girls.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Ginny, thank you for joining us. Could we do a little geography with you as well tonight? Can you tell us where you're speaking to us from at the moment?
Yes, of course. I'm in Nashville, Tennessee. Very close to Laurie in the States.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. And Ginny, can you tell us a little bit about maybe today? Let's start with the moment. How do you feel about telling us a little bit about the day in the life of Ginny today? This is April 26, 2016.
The day in the life of Ginny today. Well, I have been on the phone for much of the day with some clients and prospective clients, which is, of course, I am grateful for. I was just able to run through a 5-day trust challenge where I challenged women to walk with me for 5 days to get trust in the Lord from their head straight to their heart, so that they could feel that gratitude for Him and joy and freedom from what's going on in their life, certain circumstances or people that might be troubling them in their life. So that was an amazing experience, and gratitude was definitely part of those 5 days. You know, making sure that they are being grateful for all that they have and all that they've been blessed with over the years, as well as on a daily basis. So I'm beyond grateful for the 100 women that took place and came on and watched me and listened to my story a little bit every day. And the feedback that I got from that, where people who were having restless nights were now sleeping, and people who were struggling, waiting for a test to happen at the hospital at the end of the week, felt peace throughout that time. So I was just really grateful, because I felt like it was something that I had been called to do and really had been tasked with going ahead and taking that leap of faith to doing that. And I love that there was results for people that were tangible. That's such a blessing to be able to be part of that.
Yes, thank you. Pardon me, I was so excited about what you were saying. I was going to say, so when you say walk 5 women through 5 days, is that what you said? 5 women through 5 days. What would that mean during the course of the day? So how would you walk a woman through that?
Over the course of a day. Okay, well, it was a 5-day challenge. There were 100 women who walked with me through that. In the morning, I did a Facebook Live video. So everyone was in a Facebook group with me, and they could come in and watch the live video in the morning, and I spoke for about 20 minutes, a Bible lesson, and then also spoke a little bit about my journey, and then gave them a challenge for the day. Told them to have a couple different action steps. We identified on day 1 what it was that they wanted to hand over to God, what they wanted to get rid of, basically, the worry or the person that they were struggling with. On the second day, they had action steps that were talking about how they felt powerless in a situation, but God was powerful. So to look to Him again, to have that strength, that they didn't need to have everything on their shoulders. They could look to Him for that. And then days 3, 4, and 5, we talked about a lot of it was praising Him. There was a day of praise. We had people posted their favorite music and their praise music, what they wanted to, what was helping them express their trust and their faith in this moment, and those things that they were grateful for. One day I had them build a list of specifically all of those things that they had been blessed with, where they felt like, yes, you can trust God because He's come through 15,000 times beforehand, in our lives, in our friends' lives, and in the lives of those who are in the Bible, and countless stories online. Where are those things? Take note. Those are those things that come into our life unexpectedly. Those blessings, if we can hold them closer to our hearts, I feel like that fuels us during the day. So that was one of the exercises that I really loved. And then at the end, I asked them to, on the last day, their action step was to come up with a statement of faith. So on the first day, we talked about what they wanted to get rid of, push that out. And then on the last day, we talked about what they want to take with them. So what is their statement of faith? What is God doing for them? That He will take care of my finances. He will take care of my health. He is giving me everything that I need. Today, tomorrow, the next day, every day. I believe that He will do that.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. So did a day start at 8 and finish at 10, or how long was the day when you were on this journey with these 100 women?
Well, the day was until they, for them, as they walked through this, it was until they went to sleep. I was on Facebook checking as people were responding. They were talking about what they were doing. They were posting videos of what they were doing. How they were getting rid of their old statements or their worries. I had one woman who wrote it on a piece of paper and put it in the trash disposal. Fun things like that, trying to, ripping it up, lighting things on fire, and getting that done. But I was walking with them on the Facebook page as well from the morning until the evening. Excuse me.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Take a moment if you need a moment.
Thank you.
Yes, it's exciting. I can hear the excitement in your voice. I feel like I'm going on that journey with you right now, thinking, wait a minute, should I have a piece of paper? Maybe I should have had a piece of paper with me. Let me go get a match. Just a second.
Well, you have this video. You can go back and watch it later.
Garbage is not far. Okay, I got everything covered. I'm ready. I'm ready. So that was a private Facebook group. Is that for your clients, for your particular clients?
That was, well, if they would, I would love for them to become my clients. That would be amazing. This was just a free challenge because what I'm doing is I'm actually launching right now a group coaching, which is called Trust Academy, that basically is spinning off of this. Excuse me. I was just sick a couple weeks ago and lost my voice for 4 days, so I apologize. I thought I was doing much better. I am doing much better, believe me. But no, this Trust Academy will be going on this summer, and it's going to be 90 days. In the first 30 days, we are focusing on trusting who God made us to be, that we are exactly who He made us to be, and to trust that that is the right thing, getting rid of all of those negative things that people have told us over the years, or ideas that we should be more than we are, or we should be different than we are, and trusting Him with that. The second 30 days is trusting Him with our relationships, and making sure that our relationships are healthy, and making sure we have the right boundaries in our relationships as well, bringing those people in that are good for us, and maybe stepping away from people who might be toxic for us. And then the last 30 days is trusting Him with our future, and trusting Him to take care of where we're going, and how, now that we've discovered how we love, because everyone loves a little bit differently. Everyone expresses love differently. Once they have that information, how are you going to actually use it and put that out into the world, put that positivity and that creativity out into the world?
So, Ginny, if someone has a question, so something just crossed my mind, let's say in the second 30 days, they're in your program, and we'll talk a little bit more about you personally as well, but thank you so much for sharing this. Someone's in your program and they're in the second 30 days, and you talked about boundaries. So let's say they have a question about, okay, how do I set boundaries? Or when do I set boundaries? Or are all the boundaries that I set appropriate boundaries? So how do you address that? Is that a conversation that you have one-on-one? Is that in a group scenario where everybody is participating?
Yeah, so there's two things that happen during these 90 days. Is every week I have phone conversations with the participants one-on-one. In addition to every week, I will also have a group meeting online, something like a Google Hangout or a Zoom meeting where we can see everybody's faces, people can ask questions. And I love group coaching because I feel like everyone has a question that 90 other people need the answer to. And it's so good to know that even, someone else asked that question, I'm not alone. I'm not the only person struggling with this. So one-on-one time is really important to get your personal needs met, but then the group time is just as important to have that. And there's also a Facebook group aspect with that as well, so that people can be posting things during the week, and they can be feeding each other and blessing each other through that as well, and answering some of their own questions.
Thank you for sharing that. And your passion comes through once again. I can certainly feel that. So let me ask you a question, Ginny. If you were to go back to a point in time where you would say this was a moment, a defining moment in my life, could you, maybe I'm putting you on the spot, but if it comes to you easily, at what point in your life would you be able to relate to that defining moment, and would you tell us a little bit about it?
Defining moment in my life, absolutely. There's quite a few, but I think the one that usually comes back to mind. Oh, we're gonna have a cat in this screen here for a second.
Well, they're welcome. He's welcome. She's welcome.
This is little one. She's a defining moment. Yeah. So Laurie had said a little bit with my story that I'm recovering from alcohol. And one of the most defining moments in my life was when I was actually after I had the DUI. Excuse me. Back in 2011, I had just moved to Nashville, and I thought everything was going great. I was unstoppable. This was amazing. God had just opened all of these doors so I could come down here, and I I really thought I was unstoppable, and 6 weeks later, I was a criminal in jail, and that, to me, was devastating. It was 100% devastating because I had always identified as the good girl. I got great grades. I made sure that I was impressing as many people as possible. I was always following the rules, a leader, stand-up person, and then this happened, and I don't know who I am or what's going on. And I had thoughts of, who will ever love a criminal? Who could ever love me? Who is this person? I don't even know who they are anymore. And, I was in a new place. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have family. I was almost completely alone. I had a job to go to that I was fortunate enough to have, working from home, so that was good that I didn't need a driver's license to go to work. That was a true blessing. And I just had I had my faith. My faith was the last thing that I had left going for me. And I remember being on my knees and crying out and asking, what am I doing? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this happen to me? Of course, silly question. I know why this happened. I drank and then I got in the car. But, why did this happen this way? And what is going on here? And I don't want to call it a vision, but I did have an image of just coming up outside of my life, maybe looking at it from above as a timeline, and just seeing peaks and valleys, ups and downs, where I had been, and then of course there were more peaks and valleys of where I was going. And I felt the Father come alongside me and say, look, this is not the end. There is a whole life that you have lived up to this point, and there is a whole life you're going to live beyond this point. And if you had known this was coming before you were born, and would you still want the opportunity to be here? Would you still want the opportunity, even if this was here? If I said, you're going to have to go through this really hard time, would you still want this? And I said, yes, absolutely, with both hands, right? I would grab onto the opportunity with both, as much as I could. And then he said, okay, well, it's yours. What are you going to do with it? And from that moment on, I said, okay, if I could help just one person, if I could help just one person to understand that if they're in this place or in a similar place, knowing this is not the end, then that's worth it. That's worth all the pain, all of the confusion, all of the despair that I had felt, and all of the money that I paid for the fines on top of it. It was worth it. It would be worth it then. So I have gone now because I've been able to help, I know, at least one person, especially working in the Celebrate Recovery program. And I've seen lives changed as a sponsor and as a teacher, and just walking through life with these amazing men and women. And now I'm upping my bar a little bit, and I'm trying to tell myself, okay, if I can help one person every day, if I can just help one person every day, then this is still worth it, and it's still a life that's I can be proud of and worth living.
Thank you for that. So that was 2011.
That was 2011, yeah.
And here you are today, and you are helping more than one person a day. As a matter of fact, you helped 100 people today.
I hope, yes.
So I think you've raised the bar 100-fold.
Yes, this past week I definitely did.
And what next? So I know Laurie probably has a question for you. I'll ask you one more before I give Laurie a chance to ask you. So what next? So you went from what your first thought was to why me, how come, to I'm going to raise the bar, to surpassing it 100-fold. Now what?
Now what? Gosh, well, cross your fingers, this late spring or summer I should have a published book called Ditch the Drama. That should be coming out very soon. I would love to have a publication date, but it's not yet 100%. But it's called Ditch the Drama, How to Access God's Promises of Joy and Freedom No Matter What Happens. So hopefully while I sleep, it will be out there doing my work for me.
That's it. Okay, so it's more than one person a day, more than 100 people a day. It's while I'm sleeping,
yes,
and helping people all over the world.
Let's hope so. With God willing, you know? Absolutely.
I believe it. I believe it. Laurie, pardon me for monopolizing Ginny. I was just so excited to speak with her.
Yes, no problem. I was excited hearing the story too. And yes, I knew about Ginny's book, so I saw it on her page. So I'm excited about that too. And I love the title. And of course, think of so many different people's names and people's, you know, that you want to share that to. Okay, here, you need to read this book when it comes out.
That's funny. Yeah, most people will say, you know, I know someone who needs to read your book. Well, what I explain in the book is the hard part is we can't change anyone else. We can only change ourselves. So we have to do the hard work ourselves before we can expect anyone else to change.
So
right?
that means we read the book first, and then we can.
And then you can share it. You can pass the love.
By the way, page 44 really helped me.
Yes.
Go to people's house, you know, and take the highlighter out, highlight a page, and leave it on the desk accidentally on purpose, or.
Yeah. Do a book study, you know, do a book study, have everyone, you know, everyone read it. Book club for Ditch the Drama. I'm all for it.
There you go. Yes.
That's a great idea. So maybe you would consider including us in that so that we could ditch some of the drama, but we're going to keep some of it too.
You know, what's interesting is that we actually love drama. It's surprising to me how much we rely on it even a little bit to make sure that we have a secure place in the world. We like it. We like to be right, and we like to think that we've got this everything going on. We've got some sort of control, some semblance of control over our lives. And it's funny, but everything I feel like as far as God's kingdom and emotionally, that when we feel powerless, then He is powerful, like I had said earlier. And when we let go of the drama and we let go of those people that are causing it, even if they're still in our lives, we don't have to try and be a part of it. It's so freeing, and it's amazing to me how much better I feel about myself now that I'm not trying to make myself feel better and secure.
You know, Ginny, you just made me think about something as you were talking. I had this really beautiful plant that I bought last year, and it was gorgeous when I bought it at the home show. And I brought it home, and it started to not look so good. And I was moving it around the house. I wanted it to be beautiful, and I really wanted it to look the way it did, probably when it was in the, you know, specific temperature at the home show, and I brought it to my house, and it changed. And I was worrying about it all summer long. And then one day I put it somewhere with all the other plants, and I said, it will be whatever it will be.
Yes.
Whether it lives or not, or whatever life it has to have, it had its moment. Why am I trying to choke this plant to be beautiful every day? It doesn't want to be beautiful every day. So I let it go, and I remember that beautiful plant, and it no longer lives in our home, but it was a gorgeous moment when I let it go.
Did it survive? Did it was beautiful after you let it go?
No, it was too cold, actually. I'm sure
Okay.
it really needed those hydroponic type atmosphere, and it just didn't have that here
Right.
where I am. But I put it. Yeah, I knew a few other people that actually bought the plant, and the same thing happened to it. And I realized it was a good show. It was like fresh cut flowers in dirt with you know, it was just one of those beautiful things. It was beautiful, but trying to keep it was preoccupying myself with the plant and not with the beauty it was providing at the moment.
Right, right.
Right? That's what you made me think of when you said that.
Yep. Sometimes you just got to let it go.
Right? Exactly. Now let me ask you a question, because you have clients. What is the ideal client for you?
Okay, so for me, because I live and breathe the Lord Jesus Christ and His Father and the Holy Spirit inside of me, they would be a Christian. Now, I do work with secular clients as well, but you're asking me my ideal client, so
Yes.
they would be a Christian. They would be someone who is ready to make changes to their life. They recognize that what they've done isn't working, and that they are 100% ready to say, okay, I know that there's people around me that might need to change, but I need to make those changes myself. Someone that is responsible, who is going to really own their journey and really want to be willing to say, okay, God, whatever you have for me, I want what that is. I want whatever you have for me. It's better than my plan. Again, my plan didn't work. It got me here. I want something better. So if they're struggling with a relationship, with codependency, is a big thing, because I feel like we all have that as women to some extent. Some of us only have a little bit of it. If that's you, more power to you. I'm jealous, but and some of us have it to a greater extent, where we feel like we can't. We're always looking for someone else's approval in order to feel good about ourselves. And if that's something that they're struggling with, or they have a goal that they've always wanted to reach, and they just can't seem to get those pieces in place to do it, or they can't get motivated, they need that accountability. They need someone to come in beside them and say, all right, let's do this together. What's our strategy going to be? Let's build that out. And then what are those action steps going to take? But again, I can't work those action steps for anyone. The client actually has to go ahead and move forward. Now, I will be their cheerleader 100%, and I will be there for support, and I will be able to be there for encouragement and guidance. But at the end of the day, we all have to walk out our own lives.
Right, right. Thank you for sharing that. Well, let me ask you: would you have a question for Laurie or myself that you would like us to, since this is unrehearsed, very impromptu, would you have a question for either one of us?
Do either one of you or both of you? I know that there's actually something about gratitude that I've noticed, and I wonder if you have as well. I, with my clients, have realized that they, I don't think express, but they connect with gratitude in a couple different ways. And one way might be to, especially with gratitude journals, the first way is to make a big list, and they feel like they need a big list in order to feel like they actually have that gratitude. And then on the other hand, I have clients that want to sit with one thing and really dive into that and get some symbolism out of it, and get every last piece of meat that they can out of this one thing that they have. Is that something that you've experienced or have any experience with?
We can both answer, probably at different times would be easier. Laurie, yeah. Would you want me to go first or second, Laurie?
Either. You could go first if you want.
Okay. So, yes, I have some work that I do myself with different people. So let's talk about the question so I can have a clear, concise answer directed at your question. The question is, do I or have I experienced...
have you experienced those different ways of connecting and feeling gratitude?
For
there's
myself,
more than one way to do that.
For myself personally?
Yes, or with people that you've worked with.
Okay, yes, I wasn't sure if you meant about myself or with people. So I'll answer both. With people that I've worked with, yes. And then I'll speak about myself to keep confidentiality at the utmost highest level. So in terms of gratitude, and you talk about writing things down. So I do also find that manifestation and gratitude and and clarification all works with clarity and conciseness. Now, it could be a piece of paper with 3 words on it, and that could be clear and concise, and it could be a whole book, and every day I've journaled in it for a month, and that could be clear and concise or clear as mud. But it's the act of, and it's the exercise of engaging in the state of gratitude. It is putting my spirit and my mind and my body in the action and the thought process of, I am grateful, and therefore I will allow gratitude to come in and go out. Did I answer your question?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, I think so.
Thank you.
Ms. Laurie?
And so for me, yeah, the same thing. I also, a lot of the people that I coach, one of the first things I teach them is you have to get a gratitude journal, and you have to write in it every single day. And so that is one of my big things. I started doing that January 1st of 2009. And so one thing I've noticed, I think, is even with me, as well as I've noticed with other people when I ask them to share some things, you know, that they're willing to share with me, that they write down, is that, you know, at the beginning, it's like, well, I'm thankful for my house, I'm thankful for my kids, I'm thankful for my spouse or significant other, you know, and it's like, and then the first like couple weeks or whatever, it's like those same things, and because they feel like they can't not say that at the beginning, you know, you can't skip a day saying that, so you have to say it, but then they're not ever hitting, you know, things that happen through the day. And so that's one of the things that I say is, you know, those are a given, and of course you want to go back and mention those often, but they don't have to be mentioned in your gratitude journal every single day. But you can mention things, you know, that are more specifics to the day, or, you know, like I'll say, you know, like my son did really good in karate and, you know, made that high jump, or beat that guy and got first place, you know, or whatever. And so, or he went to work and, you know, like today I might write, I went to my son's work, he got a job at Chick-fil-A. And so I went to his work today and went in and placed an order, and I ended up meeting one of his team leaders, and he told me about how great of a job he was doing and how he's a hard worker and he's really impressed with how he's been raised and things. So of course I'll probably write about that in my journal tonight. And so that's where it's specifying certain things, and you know, and you don't have to write. And that's one thing I noticed too. And even with me, I struggled with it at the beginning. It was like, at first it was like, okay, I would write my 5 things, you know, because that's what one thing I tell people is start with 5 things. But I would write my 5 things and then it would be done. Or then I would feel like, oh, well, I haven't wrote enough, you know, it needs to be 5 whole pages of things, you know, because otherwise I'm not grateful enough, right? And so, so I've noticed that it just kind of, as you do it and you stick to it and are consistent with it, then you get to where you're just more freeing with it, and you're able to just write and think about things, and they automatically come to your head, and you just write a couple things, and you could be satisfied with 3 sentences, but you could be satisfied with 3 pages too. And so it varies from day to day, but that's one big thing that I've noticed with me, as well as other people that I've taught with that, is just the moving along from when you start to after you've done it for a while, you know?
Right.
Like being more comfortable with it, Laurie, right?
Right.
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 So Ginny, is that something that you experience with your clients or yourself?
Yes, and because I don't know, I think that there is something about seasons of life, and that in certain seasons of life there are a whole lot of things that you can be grateful for, and in other seasons of life they're just that one thing can be the most gratifying thing, and that you needed, and that's all you needed was that one thing. But you can always just get the last bit of meat off of that one thing and work at it until, and that's just as satisfying as having said, you know, I've got 50 blessings today, or I had 100 people that were in this challenge. That was amazing. Sometimes that one person who says, you helped me sleep better, and thank you. Sometimes that's all I need. So yeah, I think that neither one is wrong, and they're both right. And I think that you're absolutely right, need to allow the gratitude to come as it comes, and feel it as it comes, and there's no wrong answer.
I'd like to share something. It made me think about something I did when I moved into this house. It was a year ago in March. The front door is south, and when I would wake up in the morning, in order to go from the master bedroom to the kitchen, I'd have to walk past the front door. And I thought, well, you know, not directly, but there was a hallway. And I thought, well, I have to do something with that front door. So every morning I walk past it, I unlock it, I open it up, and I say, let the miracles come in. And I close the door, and then I walk to the kitchen. And I always wondered, you know, like, gee, how would that look to someone else? And it's amazing. 2 days ago, I opened the door, and there's a woman with her dog walking past, and she saw me. And I thought, well, instead of the miracles just coming in, maybe I could be a miracle. And I stepped outside. And she spoke to me, and she had something she wanted to say. And I realized for a year, I said, let the miracles come in, but not acknowledging that I might be the miracle for someone else. But it was an exercise that I did every day that brought me to that, and I'm just so glad that that happened the other day.
Amazing.
Isn't it? Yeah, thank you for letting me share. Laurie, I don't know where the time goes. I said that, right? Like, we start talking, and we're looking at the clock and saying, okay, where are we? We never want to stop because we love this part of the drama in our life.
Yes. Oh, this isn't drama at all.
Yeah, it's not. And we can keep our conversation going, and we can certainly invite you back, and we can hold a conversation after the show. But I guess at this time, Laurie, we should look at a parting comment to Ginny, and then maybe we can do some domestic housekeeping with our audience.
Sure, yes, absolutely. And Ginny, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Is there any one last message that you want to say to our guests tonight before we go?
Yes, I think that the thing that I have learned through the challenge and through the group coaching that I do, and even just the coaching that I do on a regular basis, I've learned that connecting with other people and bringing them into the fold and allowing them to walk through your life with you and getting vulnerable with them and being grateful for the blessings that they have given and being grateful for the ability to be a blessing. That connection is so healing and so freeing. And sometimes it's really easy to want to isolate and stay in our homes and think that we have to have it all together and we have to have it perfect. But if we can step outside of that and connect with other people and be willing to be vulnerable, then we're open enough to receive that gratitude back in. And I just wanted to share that not that any of us, none of us are ever really alone. We're all human, and we're all walking through this life experiencing many struggles. So don't be afraid to let those people in. Thank you. And thank you for having me. This is awesome. I really enjoyed this.
We enjoyed having you. Really having you. Laurie, would you like to tell our audience how they can connect with us to become a guest on the show?
Yes, so we are looking Laurie on our show We are booking now our show. And so please keep sending us your gratitude stories so we can decide who we're going to be able to put on our show. I think somebody has a little echo. So send us your gratitude stories page at www.facebook.com/gratitudegirls, and we'll let you know when your story will be featured. And we will see you right here next month, the same time, the same place, same channel, every fourth Tuesday of every month at 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain, and 6:30 Pacific. Kathryn, please say goodnight for us.
Good night, everyone, and thank you so much, Laurie. It's wonderful to see you, and I look forward to speaking to you again, Ginny. Thank you for being our guest.